Hello, and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. On this show, I help members of the public to get the very best price for their antiques and valuables. They get a choice. Sit down with one of our regular dealers. They're going to try and tempt you with a cash offer on the table today.
£500.
Still a little bit more.
You're a hard person.
If I don't think that's enough money, I'm going to advise you and say, reject it. Have a gamble. Go to auction. Hopefully we'll get you a little bit more money there.
Being sold then.
Today, the show comes to you from Winsford in Cheshire. Great crowd of people. They've turned up early this morning. They have expectations. They want to walk away with cash in their pocket, or maybe gamble at auction. But either way, they want the real deal.
The people of Winsford are raring to get stuck in, so let's head straight over to David Ford's table for Jess's painting.
I'm really hoping for about 130, 150 for my watercolor.
Well, let's see what David thinks.
You brought me in your family picture here.
I have, yes.
So tell me the story. How did this become part of your life and why are you selling it?
I inherited it about 10 years ago from an aunt. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit in the decor anymore. We've gone white, doesn't fit in.
That white minimalist look.
It is, yes.
Which everybody's doing.
Exactly.
It's got to go.
Well, it hasn't got to go. It depends what you're going to offer.
Of course.
But no, it is a lovely picture, though.
It's quite nicely presented. Wimpress, who died, I think, in 1900, so it's pre that. And it's signed in monogram here, EMW. I think it's Edmund Morrison Wimpress. And there is a sort of date there that looks like could be 75. So that would be 1875, roughly. But he painted this genre, landscapes, moorland scenes, and he was prolific. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them turn up. Sometimes a little bigger, sometimes a little smaller, sometimes a little more action. Here we've just got some roaming cattle. The sky is lovely, isn't it?
Yes,
it's terrific.
Beautiful.
But it's a fairly bland picture. There's not a lot happening.
No.
But it's a nice picture and I like it.
Okay.
And I know exactly how much I'd like to pay for it. I hope it's enough for you.
Okay. We'll see.
Shall I get some money out?
Yes, please.
Go to this pocket, I think.
Play the bigger notes.
Yes.
Good.
50, 100, 150, £200 for your painting.
We couldn't stretch it a little bit further.
Here's David, he'll give some advice.
Well, I disagree with David. Not always, but when David said it's bland, I don't see it as being bland. I see the depth in this picture, and it's very dramatic, the sky, and it really draws you in. David's right on the money. I've got a 150 to 200, and I've got a 2 to 250. You can go to auction, but I have to warn you and say it can go both ways.
Both ways, yes.
So it's up to you. You must make the decision.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. So I think £200 is a fair offer for you, and it gives me a chance of making a profit. Not a huge profit, but a profit.
I will take your deal. Thank you very much. That's
Great,
lovely.
we'll shake hands.
Thank
We'd
you.
like you to go away
Thank
happy,
you.
know.
I'm happy.
We want you to
Yes.
feel you've got the real deal.
I have.
Jess walked away with £50 more than she wanted, and David seems chuffed too.
Really pleased with the picture. My cup of tea. Love it. And I'm sure there's a healthy profit in it.
We'll find out just how healthy later, but now it's over to Helen Gardner for her first deal of the day with Alison and her Venetian chandelier.
On my table next has arrived the most astonishing light fitting you've ever seen.
I'm hoping to get maybe £200-300 at least. But if I need to be cheeky to get a little bit more, then I will.
Ooh, sparks might fly.
Tell me all about it, Alison.
It's a chandelier that was given to me as a gift. A friend had one in his house, and when I seen it, I was just blown away by
The style of it.
Yeah, it's just
Fantastic.
beautiful colours. I've actually been to Venice, to Murano, and when he told me that the chandelier was from Murano, I was just even more in awe of it. He happened to have this in the shed, and he said I could have it.
Lucky you. And you think it's about 10 years old?
I think so, yeah.
Well, this is so interesting because I would have said immediately it's French, but it's Italian.
It is.
So they were copying the French style, obviously.
Yeah.
The galley manufacturers and the Dome were the great specialists in this. And obviously in Murano they're copying it.
Yeah.
So you love it so much. Why are you selling it, Alison?
For the last 4 or 5 years, it's just been in its box, and I think it's a shame that it's such a nice item just to leave it in a box.
And can't you get it up in your house?
No, it's too imposing.
It certainly couldn't hang in my Croft house. It would be reaching the floor. But it's an amazing thing. How much money do you want for it, Alison? Do you know?
I
Lots
don't
and
know.
lots?
Lots and lots. See
Lots
what
and
you
lots.
can tempt me with.
So if I put 20, 40, 60, say £70. How do you feel about £70? No?
No.
Am I a long way off?
A long way off, yeah.
Oh dear. Well, let me try a little bit harder. How about £80, Alison?
No.
Well, I'm going to put £100 on the table. I do think it will get good money. Here's David having a look at it.
Well, when this first arrived, you know, from a distance, you look across and think, oh goodness, have we got a bit of dome here? Have we got a bit of galley? But on close inspection, of course, it is reproduction. Now, the independent values have gone for 200 to 300. I think they are being ambitious because of the age. But I would think if you went to a specialist lighting emporium, it could cost you a pretty penny. Well, you've got 100 on the table. Maybe that's worth considering, and maybe the wee Helen, she just might be a little bit more generous. She might want to light up that little shop in Cromarty.
Well, you've heard David's advice. You must take that in. Now, Alison, that's the offer that's in front of you. What are you going to do?
I can't take £100 for it, sorry, so I'll have to go to auction.
So I wish you well at auction with it. I hope it lights up the room and do really well.
Thank
you for bringing it in,
Thank you.
Alison.
I thought it would be worth far more than £100, so hopefully we'll do a little bit better at auction.
Let's get over to the sale room where auctioneer Robert Stone's raring to go. Helen's offer was well under the 200 that Alison was after, but was it worth the risk?
355, thank you.
You've decided to gamble. I think it's worth a little bit more, but you have set the reserve at £200. I think it's going to be a close one, but it's a nice quality reproduction item. It's coming up now. Let's see what happens.
What may we say for it? £150 bid for it straight away. That's on commission at 150. 160 is the now.
150.
150 the bid's here. 150. 160 anywhere now do I hear? At 160 only at 160. 170 do I hear? At £160 the bid still stays with me at £160.
It's at 160. It's not quite to your reserve.
170, 170, 180, 190 now. 190 bid there. 190, 190, 190. Bids out there. 190. Can I sell it at 190?
Do you want to say yes?
190, at 190 sell. At 190 then, sold at £190.
The auctioneer called to me. He was £10 lower than your reserve. The gavel went down at 190. Take away the commission. It is just under £156. Are you satisfied?
Yeah, can't complain really.
You hoped for a little bit more, but you
Yeah.
can't complain. And let's be fair, it was a gift after all.
It was.
So it was a freebie, and you're going home with £156. That was the real deal.
Let's get back to the den. Will Henry Nichols' first item ring his bell?
Hello, I'm Henry.
I'm Craig.
Craig, good to see you. What an amazing thing. Takes me back to my very young days. Probably one of the first mobile phones, I would think.
Yeah.
What's the history?
I was just doing a house clearance and just come across it.
Right. Well, it's made by Philips. From memory, I think the very first one I had, which was one of those huge handsets that you used to have to clip onto a belt. It was so heavy. They were, I think, one of the pioneers of it, if I'm right. Imagine having to carry something like this around the whole time. I mean, it's a weighty, weighty thing. Obviously, the receiver is held on by a magnet.
Yeah.
Dial your number and off you go. Fantastic. It's hard to put a value on something like this, and I think these are up and coming. You know, I do occasionally get people saying to me, do you have any old mobile phones? And I have to say, I've never had one, so this is actually the very first one that I've ever been offered in all the years. So I think what I need to do is get a little bit of money out and see how we go. £20.
No.
Am I a million miles away?
Not far off.
Not far off,
Not
okay,
yet.
that's always handy to know. So I'm going to put a £10 note down on the table to make it 30 quid.
Not do an extra 10.
I'm not confident enough that I'm going to find a ready buyer for it. Here comes the Duke. David?
Dunno. 30, 40, 40, 60 is what they're saying. I seem to recall those around about the mid-80s, 84. I had one in a car. Cost £3,000. And you just thought you'd got something which was so high-tech and so magical. The question is, how many of these have survived?
Well, that's the thing.
I think that's a lower part of the estimate. It might be worth another 10, 15 quid, I don't know. But it will not be worth a lot more.
Thanks, David. Well, so young man.
Extra 10.
I think, for me, an extra tenner, I think is going to be probably too much of a gamble. So I think, from my point of view, £30 or take it to auction. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'll take the 30.
Sure?
Yeah, that's fine. No.
Smashing.
Cheers,
Thanks a lot.
thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
mate. I'll try and find a buyer for it, but I might end up having it for a long time. People tell me they sell. Do they? I'll find out.
Also coming up, what's got Helen all in a flap?
Fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
The den's still full to the brim, so let's get back to Helen's table, where Sheila's waiting to do business with her childhood toys.
I'm hoping for in the region of £100, but I will push as hard as I can, and I'm experienced at negotiating.
Ooh, does Helen stand a chance?
Now, why have you brought in these boys' toys? Tell me all about them, Sheila.
I found them at home when I cleared my mother's house. I remember this one when I was younger.
Well, you're allowed to play with that one.
I have. It has a wind up at the bottom.
Yeah. How does that work? Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I'm
love
always
it.
frightened of overwinding
Of
it, so
course,
I don't
yes.
do
No,
it.
I would be loath to do that.
And that was in a drawer, but it did bring back a memory of having seen it when I was younger.
Yeah.
This one I found in the cupboard, and I don't remember playing with it. I understand you have to put water in this cylinder.
Yeah.
And
see.
there's a wick. You put methylated spirits inside this,
Yeah.
and there's a little wick. Goes
I
in there.
see.
Heats
That
up
heats
the
the
water.
water, yeah.
And the piston goes up and down and turns
So
this.
it's a little engine, like a steam engine.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yes.
How fabulous is that? So why are you selling your toys?
They collect dust, really, and I'd be worried to give this to a child that would break
Yes,
it.
maybe.
And it wouldn't be appreciated, so...
Well, I think they're rather nice. They're German, of course.
Both
Most
of
of
them.
these tin plates, things pre-war, were German, and I think these are even earlier. But it's interesting. So, how much money do you want for these now? Do we know? You
I've got an idea in my head, yes.
Yeah. Well, I've not got an idea at all, so I'm going to have to put down some money and see where we go. How about if I put down £50? Will that buy your toys?
For one of them.
Buy one of them? Well, that's a start, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure. How about £60? Will that buy your toys?
No,
No.
definitely no.
How about £70 for your toys?
No, I'm sorry.
No?
No.
Don't be sorry. Maybe I'll try one more. How about £80 for your toys?
I was looking for a bit more than that.
A bit more than that. Do I want to make it any more than that? Now, this I think is going to be my last bid. There's £90. So it's going to be up to you to decide now.
Not
whether
one
you
more
want it.
10?
£90 is kind of where I want to stick. I think I've gone the extra mile for me. But you know that you have a choice. You can put them in auction, get a little bit more.
Okay, yes, we've got a deal then.
Gonna have a deal? You sure?
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you so much. And I really love this little toy.
Good haggling there. But what happened to that £100 you originally wanted, Sheila?
I had to take into account commission and VAT at auction. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Right, let's get over to David's table, where Tony's ready to put him through his paces for his collection of walking sticks.
Tony,
you're a walking stick collector.
Not so much a walking stick collector. They were given to me by my wife's late uncle 10 years ago. He actually went to sea, obviously, and wherever he went, he picked up a walking stick.
All right.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. Obviously, some of them are African. He obviously travelled around Africa. You can see a few of those. This one, is this something he bought as well, the tortoiseshell one?
It was him with the
how
rest,
long ago
basically.
Did he died, did he?
He's been dead 10 years now, yeah.
Okay, so we know this is at least 10 years old. Because I don't think this is terribly old, this one. It's the best looker, but I'm not sure that it's very old.
Yeah.
So what's made you, Tony, now decide to sell them?
Well, they're just sitting in the house. I'm not going to use them, basically.
Well, I hope you're not.
Well, no.
Who knows?
But I'm looking forward to selling them off and putting them towards a holiday.
Yeah. Not quite sure about these at all. You know, there are no sword sticks or, sometimes you get magnifying sticks. You get things that make them novelty and interesting. Right. Sometimes they're gold topped and that always helps. But I suppose I ought to try and get some money out, because I do say I'll buy almost anything.
Right.
Where do we start? How many are there?
14.
14?
Yeah.
How about £40, Tony?
No, nowhere near.
Nowhere near?
Nowhere near.
I think they're worth a lot more, do you?
That's definitely yes.
I'll try 60, and I think that's where I'm at on these. £60.
Not
really?
Enough. Not enough for that, no.
Here's David, he'll give us some advice.
We have various valuations here, and this is what this business is about, all opinions. I've got a 150 to 2, and I've got a 2 to 400. I'm going to suggest to you, David, and I know him, I can see that glazed look coming over his eyes. For goodness sake, I don't want to take these home. So I'm going to say, take them to the auction. Open them up, see what they're really worth.
You know, they aren't things that I'm excited about buying. I think I expressed that to you. That's not saying they're not interesting things, and there are people out there that will happily give you good money for them. But I'm going to stick at that, so I encourage you to go to auction, obviously.
I'll go to auction.
And have a nice day.
Yeah, OK.
All right, Tony.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was a bit disappointed, obviously, with the offer. We want the money for our holiday, and let's hope the auctioneers will give me that money.
I think going to auction is going to be his best bet, and I think he will do surprisingly well.
Now, £60.
Well, let's get over to the sale room to find out.
Anthony can't make it here today. I'm here on his behalf. Now, I fancy these. I think they're going to do all right. The reserve is 300 quid. I think that's a fairly safe bet. They're coming up now. Are they going to make their money? Well, I think they are. Let's see what happens.
A lot of interest in this lot. £300 a bid straight away at £300 a hat.
Straight in at £300, that's the reserve.
At £300 a hat, 300, 320 now, do I hear quickly at 320, 340, 360, 380, 380, 400 now, at 380 and bid.
Still at 380, some commission with the auctioneer.
Going to be sold at £380, a good lot here, last chance at £380 being sold then.
Gavel's gone down at £380. I fancied that a lot, so we have some commission to take off. £311 is the real deal, and that's the amount that we're sending on to you, Anthony. Good decision, mate.
Now it's back to the den where Helen's hoping to clinch a deal with Henry.
Helen?
I'm selling a ring today on behalf of my sister, and we're hoping to get around £200.
I like these 7-stone diamond rings because they're very commercial. Definitely going to try and buy it because I can definitely sell it.
Ooh, sounds promising.
Sweet little diamond ring you brought in to show me.
It is, isn't it?
What's the history behind it?
Well, it's not actually mine.
Right.
I'm selling this on behalf of my sister.
OK.
She's had it quite a few years.
Let's have a look at what we've got, shall we?
OK.
OK, we have here a 7-stone diamond ring, a round brilliance, the actual stones. I mean, you're looking at a ring here that's fairly modern, probably 1980s, I would think, in its age, assayed in Birmingham. The stones do sparkle quite nicely. They're a nice colour. They do have inclusions in them, that much I can tell you. And I would think you've got probably getting on for towards a sort of half carat, maybe between a quarter and half a carat of stones in there in total. Okay. Now, the thing with diamonds, for them to be worth serious money, they've got to be big diamonds.
Okay.
And these are only relatively small diamonds that, because of the price of gold, a lot of people have been scrapping their rings, and so there's been a flood of smaller diamonds up to 1/4 of a carat coming onto the market, which has sort of meant that the value of the smaller stones has fallen a little bit.
Right.
However, it's quite stylish, it's still in fashion, which helps.
Yes.
So Helen, what are you going to do with the money?
Well, it's going to a very special trip next year. My sister and I are going to celebrate a big birthday for her, and we're doing Route 66, but we want to start in New York with cocktails first.
Fantastic. So what I need to do is to get some money out onto the table.
That'd be nice.
And see if we can tempt you.
Okay, all right then.
Okay, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. £120. What do you think, Helen?
It's not enough.
Not enough,
No,
okay.
sorry.
Are we a million miles away? You're not going to give the game away, are
Not
you?
really,
okay,
no,
until I just
sorry.
keep piling the money on the table.
You keep piling it on. Go on.
Okay.
I'll let you.
140, 160, £180. Here's the maestro.
Well, I looked at this a few moments ago, then I ran off to see our independent valuers and auctioneers. And the reason I did that, there were several estimations. There was a 180 to 220 and a 180 to 250. Now I looked at the ring and I thought, that sounds quite strong, the higher part of the estimate. And now I see 180 on the table, I'm going to say, I think that's a very good offer, considering the size of the stones and the gold that's involved. That offer is fair. Give this lad a chance, let him earn a little bit of money, but I don't think there's a lot in it.
Thank you, David. We've got 180 on the table. Helen, what do you think?
Just one cocktail in New York more.
I'll tell you what I'll do. A bag of pretzels in New York, £185. Do we have a deal?
Yes, we do.
Splendid.
All right,
Fantastic.
thank you.
Thanks, Helen.
It was going great until David came along and just kind of took my dream away. Couldn't get 200 quid, never mind.
It'll look good in the cabinet in the shop, and I know it won't take me too long to move it on, so yeah, very happy.
Well, we'll find out if you're still smiling when it comes to your profit, Henry. Also coming up, David Ford finds himself outnumbered.
I think that's too low. You want over 100.
Right, okay. You want over 100, do you?
Maybe.
Having listened to Mr. Dickinson.
My mate David go way back.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Welcome back. Our dealers are still itching to get their hands on more treasures, so best not keep them waiting. Will Helen shell out enough for Linda's item?
I brought a bag of old African cowries. Been in the family a long time and hoping to get as much as I can.
The shells have caught the eye of the Duke and auctioneer Robert Stone, so they're on standby to make sure Linda gets a fair price.
This is a peculiar thing you've brought in. Tell me all about this, please.
Well, it's been in the family as far as I've been around. Some African cowries. Obviously card counting, I don't think I used them for that. I just sort of played with them when I was little.
You played with those when you were wee,
yes,
did you?
Yes.
Do you know how many cowries are in the bag?
No, funnily enough, I was going
You've
to
never
count
counted them?
I've picked them up off the floor a few times.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it.
Very different.
And it says Superior African cowries for card counters, etc. a shilling the sack. How peculiar. I think this is rather nice, Linda. I rather like this. I'm not sure how much the cowries are worth, but the sack, I've never seen anything like it. It's quite interesting. These would have been used for counting, for playing games, but the history of the cowrie goes back much, much earlier than that. Cowries would have been used as a form of exchange. And, you know, for generations ago and centuries ago, this was money. So cowries would have been used for money in Africa and I think probably in Australia and New Zealand as well, but centuries ago.
Yes.
So it's very interesting.
Robert, when this came through the door, I was absolutely fascinated.
Anyway, yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. Now, the cowrie shells you do see, but it's the bag, this little sack that's printed on it. Have you seen the likes of something like that before?
In a word, no. I think it's really interesting, actually. And like you know, when I got hold of the thing, I thought, this is real fun stuff.
Yes.
Difficult to value, really, but, you know, it is interesting, isn't it?
What estimation have you put on it?
I think you said about 30 to 50, David, so
well,
let's see what happens.
Again, 30 to 40 is the kind of going price with the independents as well. But it's up for grabs. It is something just interesting, and it brings a smile to your face. It's brought a smile to Helen's face. Let's see what she puts on the table.
I do like it, and I'd like to buy it, but we'd have to try and agree a price. So there's 20 quid for your cowries. What do you think? No, very definite no.
Yes.
How about £30 for your cowries?
I'm going to go in there because I saw the look on Helen's face, and I'm sure she's going to want this for her shop.
So how do you feel about my £30, Linda? Here's
Don't
David.
say anything, Linda, until I've had a word with you. Right. Now, first of all, I've never seen such an item as this before. It's intriguing, it's quirky. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I've seen cowries, and I know the history of cowries, but I've never seen this sack before. I suspect it's from the early 20th century, kind of empire days.
Yes.
It's very interesting item. Shells I can get, but the bag is something special.
It's the bag. You probably think we're mad, but it's the bag that makes this item.
Yes.
The estimate from our independent values is 30 to 40. Now I have to say, 30 to 40 sounds fine, but I think it's a little bit low. £30, I have to be fair and say, a good, honest offer. But is it worth more? In my opinion, the answer is maybe.
Well, you've heard David's advice. It's always good advice. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to put another 10. Now there, look, there's £45, and I think 45 is a generous offer. But Linda, you might
Change
want
the 5 to a 10.
Linda, you are so persuasive. My goodness, £50.
It's unique and it's
interesting.
interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
If I put £50 on this table, are we going to have a deal, Linda?
Yes, I think
We
so.
are?
Yes.
Okay, you've pushed me very hard, but I love the item. Thank you so much. Shake my hand.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
Think you paid over the odds, Helen?
I'm sure I paid far too much money for it, but I don't care. I just like it. It's quirky, interesting, and very much my kind of thing. Love it.
Figured mahogany.
Over to David's table, where Rob's waiting expectantly.
Well, hopefully I'll get about 100 quid for it, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure what it's worth.
That's all very well, but what is it?
Sitting here is a little wicker box, which has to be Chinese. Inside it is a little teapot. Where's its lid?
It didn't come with one when I found it.
You found it?
Yeah.
I love these stories. Where did you find it?
I do uphold houses, and it was in the loft when I was clearing it out. So it was on the pile to go in the rubbish skip, and my dad found it and said, "What are you doing chucking that out? It might be worth a bit."
Yes. Well, with a lid, it would be worth a little bit more. I mean, it does matter, because it's going to be very hard to find a lid to fit that. I mean, it dates around about 1900. 1890, 1910, that sort of date. It's Chinese, Cantonese, famille verte, it's called, this decoration. It's quite a nice little thing, and Chinese things in the current market are quite hot, you know, doing well.
So I believe, yeah.
So you got it for nothing?
Got it for nothing, but what's unique about this is they don't, normally the baskets are all knackered or don't even come with a basket.
Well, that's true, and this is all quite nice because the lining is, even that is in reasonably good order. This looks perfect to me. Doesn't look as though it's got any damage. Right, what am I going to pay for that? Wish it had a lid. So I keep saying that, so it's not going to produce a lid, is it?
No.
20, 40, 60. £70.
It's a generous offer, but I think it might be worth over £100.
With a lid, I'd give you 150.
Right.
£70.
Well, very nice. David's right, there is a lid missing, but I'm not so sure that's going to be the most difficult thing in the world. once dealers shop around. So we have several options here. They start as low as 50 and they go up to 120. I think it's worth a little bit more than the 70 quid. It's in lovely condition, it's desirable. I think that's too low. You want over 100.
OK, thanks, David.
Right, OK. You want over 100, do you?
Maybe.
Having listened to Mr. Dickinson.
My mate David go way back.
I see, OK. £80. No lid. Really worries me, that does. I think £80 is a good £90. I'm finished. That's my bid.
What's your final offer?
Yes.
No deal.
You're going to go to auction?
I'm going to go to auction.
Good luck, Rob. Hope it really works for you.
Thanks,
you.
David.
Thanks for bringing it in. Maybe I should have tried harder. Wish I'd bought it.
Too late now, David. Find out after the break if Rob was right to hold out for the £100 he wanted.
£80 bid straight away at 80, 85, 90, 95, 95.
And whether Henry stands a chance against this savvy seller.
So you want a little bit more?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Oh, I've got to earn a little bit of a profit.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Winsford in Cheshire.
Before the break, Rob tried to push David to splash out over £100 on his oriental pot. But it wasn't David's cup of tea.
£90. I'm finished. No lid. Really worries me, that does.
No deal.
Good luck, Rob. Hope
So
it
Rob
really
plumped for the sale run, leaving David to stew.
It probably will be better at auction. Maybe I should have tried harder.
Is he right? Let's find out.
Now, I've got Rob here. Now, you brought along a Cantonese teapot, which is in a folding wicker frame case. Very nice. Now, you've been a bit poorly recently, Rob. Tell me all about it.
I've had testicular cancer, David.
Right. Quite common amongst men. It's something that's we hear more about today. You're having treatment.
Yes, that's right.
And where are you attending for the treatment?
I'm going to Christie's in Manchester.
Yeah. Whatever this brings onto the gavel, you want to donate this money to charity. Who is it going to, the charity?
It's going to the Michael Heel unit at Leighton Hospital.
Right. So it's going to be split between this unit and Christie's?
Yes, that's right.
I've had a word with the auctioneer. He's not going to take any commissions, so whatever it makes under the gavel, that's everything that will be given to the charity of your choice. The reserve is 100 quid. It needs to get over 100 quid. Let's see what happens. It's coming up now.
And what may we say for this one? £80 bid straight away at 80, 85 is the now at 85 anywhere now, 85, 90, 95, 110, 110, 110.
It's at 110. It's over the reserve.
At £110, bids there at 110, will be sold at £110, all finished and done, at 110.
£110 made under the gavel. There are no deductions because this is being split between Christie's Hospital and
the Michael Heel unit.
OK. Best of luck with the treatment. I know you're well and truly on the mend, so I'm sure you're in good hands now. Congratulations to you. Look after yourself. Get well in the future, my friend.
Thanks, David.
Real deal, 110 quid. Yes.
Get in.
Back in the den, could Henry's luck be in with Alison's charm bracelet?
Expectations for it are absolute minimum would be 650.
Let's hope Henry doesn't disappoint.
Well, that's quite an impressive looking charm bracelet. What's the history?
It was a present for my mum about 30 years ago. Over the years, me and my brother have bought charms for her individually. She's had presents, obviously, that's built it up, but she wants to sell it to split between the grandchildren now.
Oh, lovely idea. What a lovely idea. There are an awful lot of charms on here.
Yep.
It is something that would have been put together probably from the late 70s, maybe early 80s, to the more modern period, with the exception of one, which is this little receptacle here with an old pound note in it, which was for emergencies. And you find I've had them over the years. There's another one here, a little 10-shilling note in it, which is quite sweet. But there's a couple of charms in there that I think are quite delightful. One we've got down here, which is the bird sitting on its eggs in the nest there, and this really, really sweet little duckling or chick or whatever. A lot of the value of this particular charm bracelet is going to be really on the weight. It's gold, really, and gold's pretty good at the moment. Quite often what happens with these is that we tend to break them up and try and sell the charms separately, because with charm bracelets, the whole fun of having a charm bracelet is putting it together yourself. You know, buying a ready-made charm bracelet, I think, is, you know, to a certain degree, it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
So how many grandchildren are there?
There's 2 grandchildren and a great-grandchild on the way.
OK, so I've got to get enough money out to make 3 very, very happy.
Yes.
OK. Well, let's have a go, shall we?
Yep.
50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, £500.
No.
No. No. OK, we're a long way away.
Quite a bit, yeah.
OK. 550, £600. That's £200 each. Let's see what David thinks.
It's getting up there because we've got a 5 to 550 and we've got a 550 to £600, but in precious metal there is £700 worth there. Now I've got to be fair and say a dealer has got to earn a living, and at £600 there's a £100 profit. It is possible to sell that. These bracelets have come back a little bit. Some people want to wear them. It's possible, but the metal alone determines the price. Is that it, Henry?
I think I might be persuaded up a little bit more.
Right, I'm going to get out of the way.
Okay.
And if you can get a little bit more off Henry, I'm going to say it probably is the best course. Henry's generous, and if he said, I'll talk to you about a little bit more, my answer would be, take it.
Okay.
Thanks, David. Well, Alison, so you want a little bit more?
Yes, please.
Or a lot more?
Middle ground-ish.
Somewhere in between. 620. Come on, deal with me at 620.
Still a bit more,
Oh, I've got
please.
to earn a little bit of a profit.
I know, but there is a great-grandchild on the way. A first great-grandchild.
OK, I'll tell you what I'll do. We've got 620 on the table. If I go 630, that's 210 each.
Okay.
How does that sound? I think that's where I want to be. Do we have a deal?
Yes.
Splendid,
Thank you.
fantastic. Thanks, Alison, thank you.
Alison got 20 quid less than she wanted, but it's still plenty to treat the grandkids with. Now, let's see if our dealers have had as much luck with making a profit. Today they've tried to charm our sellers with almost £1,500 of their own money. Whose investment is paid off? Helen had her arm twisted into laying down £50 for the cowrie shells.
You changed the 5 to a 10.
Linda, you're so persuasive, my goodness.
And now Helen would take some persuading to let them go. They're part of a display in her shop. She was a fan of the toys too.
How does that work? Fantastic.
And after settling on £90, selling them on was child's play. Henry wasn't exactly hung up on the mobile phone when he laid down his 30 quid.
Not doing extra 10.
I'm not confident enough that I'm going to find a ready buyer for it.
And he was right, he still hasn't sold it. After laying down £185 for the diamond ring, he was sure it would pay off.
I know it won't take me too long to move it on, so yeah, very happy.
Well, he's not so chuffed now, he just can't shift it. Alison did a good job of charming him out of his £630 for her bracelet, although he did manage to see a small return.
Nice to meet you.
But it's David who's our one-hit wonder today with the watercolour.
My cup of tea, love it, and I'm sure there's a healthy profit in it.
And he wasn't wrong. It's really put him in the frame and the other dealers to shame. David made more than Helen and Henry put together.
Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. TTFN, ta-ta for now.